Hey friends, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. How you doing, friend? I hope you're doing well. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News, of course, the daily series, baby girl, here on the channel, where I reflect on what's being said about Chelsea, giving you my opinion on it, more importantly asking for yours. What's going on with our new friend, Christoph? Huh? See what I did there? Chelsea trying to still get him. He does want to join Chelsea. We're going to get an update from Matt Law's article from The Telegraph. We'll also be talking about N'Golo Kante and Jorginho. Kante, with his injury record, does the new data-led Chelsea reflect on Kante poorly? Don't give this guy a new contract. He's always injured. And Jorginho apparently touting himself around to Barcelona as a Busquets replacement. We might talk about this as well. Do settle in, do get comfortable. Pour yourself a drink, man. Well, you don't have to. What I would ask you to do, though, is drop a like on the video. We've been slacking on the likes of late. You guys watching this now, that's right, yes, you no longer like the video. What changed? We used to be so good together. Please do drop a like, it means a lot. You're welcome to subscribe, and should you choose to do so, hit that sweet, sweet bell, baby. Ooh, that's a high one. Right then, let's get into it. To start off with, let's give you an update on Christoph Freund, the seemingly imminent sporting director to join Chelsea. You got people like Fabrizio Romano, even still today, tweeting out, yes, there is an agreement between Chelsea and Freund for him to become the new sporting director and work with this new long-term project with new Chelsea coach Graham Potter. Sounds good, all good to go, but maybe RB Salzburg are playing hardball. They've made a public statement to certain journalists, including Ben Jacobs, saying, no, we expect him to stay. There's no agreement with Chelsea. A lot of people speculated this was them playing hardball. Similarly, resonated with people remembering what Brighton said with Marc Cucurella. We do not have an agreement for left-back Marc Cucurella, despite what they're saying in the media. What happened? Couple days later, it was confirmed he was sold to Chelsea. Similar vibes? Maybe. We're going to jump over into this article now from Matt Law from The Telegraph and find out what's being said. Christoph Freund is now considering staying at Red Bull Salzburg following the Austrian club's insistence that they do not want to lose him to Chelsea. Freund had been expected to join Chelsea as the club's new sporting director after holding another positive round of talks with the Stamford Bridge club. But sources close to the 45-year-old believe he is having second thoughts over the move, prompted by Salzburg's hardline approach over his future and the fact he signed a new 4-year contract. Chelsea have not yet given up on Freund, but will press ahead with talking to other candidates for the post, with doubts now surrounding whether or not he is prepared to leave Salzburg. Oh la la, spanner in the works, ladies and gentlemen, but like Fabrizio Romano's reported and other journalists, there was seemingly an agreement between the potential sporting director and Chelsea Football Club. It looked like it was just up to Chelsea and Salzburg to come to an agreement, which perhaps, well, seemingly they haven't done. Maybe they've got in his ear and said, look, stay here, you're building something great, you're part of the RB enterprise. But Chelsea are adamant and insistent on getting a sporting director as soon as possible. Freund's potential change of heart has not sent Chelsea back to square one, as talks have already been held with a couple of potential sporting directors. But it could constitute the club's second setback in terms of finding a permanent sporting director after Michael Edwards, who built the Liverpool team that became European and English champions under Jurgen Klopp, decided against taking the role. I think more poignantly with Michael Edwards was he's on a year sabbatical and he was just not interested in breaking that. He said, look, I'm having a full year off football, I don't want to change that, and despite this attractive offer from Chelsea Football Club, I'm simply not going to break. But Chelsea's insistence in getting someone in as soon as possible made them carry on looking elsewhere, hence Christoph Freund and where we are now. Neil Barth, who's quickly forged a strong working relationship with Chelsea's new owners, is thought to be considered for the post, but he has been head of youth development since 2011 and is believed to be happy in that job. Yet also, Neil Barth is almost definitely the best at what he does in the entire world of football at developing youth talent. Just look across the Premier League and top leagues in the world of the amount of superstar graduates that came through the Chelsea Academy, literally riddled across the highest level at Europe. A lot of that is down to Neil Barth. No matter, even if he would make a good sporting director, you wouldn't want to take him away from that role because you wouldn't want to lose that academy superpower that we have. So yeah, co-controlling owner Todd Boehly awarded himself the sporting director title on an interim basis during the summer, but Chelsea want a permanent appointment before the World Cup to prepare for the January transfer window. Indeed, it's going to be a really interesting winter transfer window, possibly the most interesting we've ever seen, because if there are breakout stars in the World Cup in the winter, November, December, whatever it bloody is, then this is an opportunity to pry them away from whatever, obscure leagues or whatever, get someone from the World Cup who's been performing well and he's on a high. It's just a really interesting opportunity. It usually happens in the summer after a World Cup year. There's always some big high profile transfers, but the fact how it happens in the winter, and indeed just before a transfer window, could make it a really exciting window. When asked about joining Chelsea, Freund, who previously turned down an offer from Ajax, said, "You should never rule anything out in football, and Chelsea is such a huge club, but I'm the sports director at Salzburg and really enjoy it. Chelsea is a huge club in transition. I can't say exactly what will happen in the next weeks and months." Salzburg responded with a statement of their own, which may have forced Freund into a rethink. Chief Executive Stephen Reiter told Sky Sports Austria, "I can definitely rule out neither Chelsea nor Christoph Freund spoke to me or the club management about something like that. Christoph recently signed a new contract with us until 2026, which applies to him as well as the players, managers, and coaches." You didn't ask Daddy if you could leave, and you have a contract, my boy. Seemingly, understandably, Christoph would like to come to Chelsea and be the sporting director, though the RB franchise or system network is a well-run one, so that's what Chelsea are looking to be. They want to give this guy an opportunity as a sporting director to build his legacy in his work, rebuild Chelsea with the available resources. What a wonderful opportunity. Southwest London. Beautiful real estate. What a great job. The Premier League, potential Champions League winners, Premier League winners, etc. You can understand why this is alluring to the Austrian. We'll have to see what happens though. I think Chelsea will still push for this appointment, as well as looking for alternatives. We'll have to see what happens there. But of course, keep it locked to Football Therapy. We'll be following all stories very, very closely, and you can have the news and my commentary first here when you subscribe and turn on the sweet bell notifications icon. Let's move on to the next part of this video. So it's been circulating around the media still the N'Golo Kante situation. Chelsea at risk of losing N'Golo Kante in the summer on a free transfer. He wants a 3+1 year deal, something that we've spoken about here before. Chelsea want to give him a 2+1 deal. They're concerned essentially about his injury record, and you couple that with the fact how he's like one of Chelsea's highest earners, if not currently the highest earner, maybe on par with Raheem Sterling. Of course, Raheem Sterling is a really, really important player, a goal scorer, goals cost money. Sterling is 4 years younger, and Raheem Sterling has an immaculate injury record. He seemingly doesn't get injured and is always available. The best ability in football is availability, and N'Golo Kante might have all the defensive ability, but he hasn't got the availability. Look man, he's a game changer. I realise and recognise that, and I will concede to that immediately. When he's on the pitch and playing, we are a much better side, and maybe on that premise alone, we just give him what he wants. But there is an argument to be made that Chelsea will look to just seemingly entirely rebuild our midfield moving forwards. We are looking to buy a more conventional CDM. Of course, we made several bids the last summer transfer window to land one, all of which were unsuccessful. And of course, we've taken Dennis Zakaria on loan, who we are yet to see feature at all for Chelsea. He played in that friendly behind closed doors, but we are yet to see him. Chelsea, of course, have bought youngsters through. People are even still speculating now we have Potter. We might see Billy Gilmore return, and there is no buy option for Ethan Ampadu on his Italian loan. So there are those youngsters coming through. Of course, we bought Cesare Cassidy, we bought Carney, Chukwuemeka, and with us still trying to buy a first team senior player, it looks like Chelsea are preparing to rebuild the midfield. There was actually speculation that the sporting director that comes in would look to restructure and rebuild Chelsea's midfield with the coach Graham Potter. I believe that was said by Fabrizio Fabrizio Romano, the midfield thing, by the way, in case you just think I'm spouting nonsense and making it up. I'm simply not. I'm reacting to what's being said by what I deem reputable sources. So with that idea of rebuilding the midfield, we can all have our opinions on should N'Golo Kante get a 4-year deal, shouldn't he? Will there, Nizar Kinsella spoke on the London is Blue podcast about with this new data-led model with Boehly and Clearlake, will they do more like medical analysis and just basically fully analyse N'Golo Kante and what he's worth with a new contract, and is it worth doing? Similarly, Jorginho. Of course, Jorginho looks like he's a player that could feature in Graham Potter's football because he releases the ball quickly. It also looks like maybe he's got more license to make riskier passes. Of course, Graham Potter, interviewed as Chelsea manager, has talked about players taking risks, and that, in that 1-1 draw in the Champions League, which was a disappointing result, we saw positives, and one of those positives was Jorginho playing forward balls over the top. He made a few key passes. If you can keep that up, great, but a lot of people are still, even if you're not one of these anti-Jorginho, I realise there's a Jorginho versus Mason Mount stan war online. I, of course, value both and don't get involved in such silly Twitter arguments. But while seeing the value of Jorginho, I still wouldn't perhaps cry if he left. Another guy who's in his 30s, and if we are trying to change the whole philosophy of our football when we need to rebuild the midfield, then he might be another sacrifice in it as well. Chelsea could lose both Jorginho and N'Golo Kante in the summer. The poor thing about this, it will be they're both on free transfers, which will sting Chelsea because they're both they've both been in like Ballon d'Or rankings, they're both Champions League winners at started finals. Kante's won the World Cup, Jorginho's won the European Championships. These are high profile players, like elite, dare I say Galactico level players that Chelsea will lose on free transfers that had they signed them onto new deals and sold them, they'd probably make a bit of money. Apparently Jorginho has touted himself to Barcelona, I guess as a long-term Busquets replacement. Actually, he'd probably do pretty well at Barcelona, wouldn't you agree? Playing La Liga football for a behemoth there like Barcelona, who have a lot of the ball, pass the ball around. I actually think he'd probably cook there. We know Jorginho misses the weather in Napoli and Italy. Mate, go to Barcelona, the hot sun, get a lot of the ball, play with elite people in a weaker league where you could just knock the ball around. You can absolutely understand the allure for Jorginho to go to do that. Maybe N'Golo Kante would go to Real Madrid and there'd be that could genuinely happen. I know they've revamped their midfield with Tchouaméni and Camavinga, but of course Modric is 37, I believe. So even you can replace a senior player with a less senior player in N'Golo Kante. It would be like a Makelele swap. We got Makelele when he was like 30 or 31. They'd be buying Kante when he's like 30 or 31. Funny is they're similar players in many ways. I'm not saying he's going to go to Real Madrid. PSG seems like an obvious destination for N'Golo Kante if he wants to make some money, and he is Parisian, Kante, so that kind of makes sense upon reflection. They absolutely would have him. He's an icon in France. Could we lose both? Should we lose both? Should we sign one up? Should we just completely rebuild the midfield for Graham Potter ball and bring the average age down the midfield? Possibly, but let me know what you think. Comment down below. I put it out to you guys. I really want to get your opinion on this, and I'll be down in the comments, so please do tell me what you think. Thank you for dropping a like on the video and subscribing if you're new, should you choose to do so, hitting that sweet, sweet bell, baby. Alright mate, thanks for hanging out. I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Peace.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double, silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me baby.